Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are analyzing two really powerful and intense narratives of betrayal, both ripped straight from the sources you shared with us.
They are high-stakes stories.
Absolutely. We're talking about situations where public humiliation or, outright violence led to these secret investigations and, in the end, just spectacular public reckonings.
Right, and that's our mission here. We're going to dissect the common threads, really focus on how power, manipulation, and even passive complicity work in these very high-pressure family and professional settings.
And we'll look at how the victims turned that pain into justice.
Exactly. How they were labeled useless or unstable, but used that to fuel a really strategic return.
We have two incredible deep dives here. Both center on women who were completely written off, only to come back with definitive proof that shattered everything. So the goal is to really unpack the mechanics of these monstrous lies.
And how they were taken apart piece by piece.
Okay, let's get into it, starting with the account of Keziah and the St. Clair family. It's chillingly calculated.
It really is. Keziah's story is a profound case study in long-game cruelty. And it's masterminded almost entirely by her mother-in-law, Zenobia St. Clair.
And the core issue was, what, an heir?
An heir. It was all about dynastic control. After 5 years of marriage to Xavier, Keziah was childless, and Zenobia was just obsessed with securing the family line, especially because her own husband had known fertility issues.
So she projects that onto Keziah.
Completely. And the way she does it is just brutal. The public humiliation she uses is designed for maximum social damage.
At a kid's birthday party, of all places.
Her nephew's 5th birthday, the source says the room goes quiet, and Zenobia just drops this verdict. Not a whisper, a proclamation. She says Keziah is the only one who is useless to us.
Wow. In front of everyone.
And that's the strategy. She weaponizes the family, forcing them to either defend Keziah or accept the judgment.
And her husband, Xavier, what does he do?
That's the devastating part. Keziah looks to him, and he just stares at his salad. He doesn't look up, doesn't say a word.
So his silence is the confirmation.
It's the complicity. It seals the deal. He agrees she's useless.
And that passivity, it immediately leads to active cruelty.
30 minutes later, he kicks her out into the freezing rain, tells her he wants a real family.
But this is where the entire story flips on its head. The irony is just staggering.
It is, because while she's standing there, drenched under an awning, she finds the pregnancy test she'd bought earlier.
No.
2 bright lines. She was pregnant with twins, as it turns out, Kenzo and Kalia.
So she was carrying the very heirs they were obsessed with at the exact moment they threw her out for being barren.
The ultimate bounty. That discovery changes everything. She's no longer just a victim, she becomes an investigator.
And for 3 years, she stays away, right? Builds her own life.
She does. She focuses on survival, starts a successful bakery in Savannah, Keziah Sweets, and raises her children. It's her mother's illness that forces her back.
And that's when she starts pulling on the threads.
That's it. She finds her grandmother-in-law's diary, Burl St. Clair's. And this is the key piece of evidence that establishes motive.
What does it say?
It details Zenobia's insane obsession with the bloodline, going back decades. It talks about her husband's infertility and Pearl's fear that Zenobia would, quote, do anything to get an heir.
So it reframes the whole thing. It wasn't about Keziah's failure, it was about Zenobia's experiment.
A failed experiment in Zenobia's eyes. And the public confrontation starts when Zenobia slanders the children. She calls them some other man's brood.
So Keziah has to act.
She has to. She files a lawsuit for paternity establishment, a simple legal move to protect her kids, but it sends the St. Clairs into absolute chaos.
Because they know the truth.
And the panic is immediate. Xavier's new wife, Soraya, who is very publicly pregnant, suddenly shows up. She offers Keziah a huge amount of money to drop the test.
Why would she do that? If the kids aren't Xavier's, the test would prove Soraya right.
Exactly. It makes no sense. Soraya says it will ruin everything for all of us. That plea tells Keziah that Soraya herself is trapped in the lie.
Okay, so the web gets bigger.
Much bigger. Keziah tracks down the retired family doctor, Dr. Thaddeus. He admits that years ago, Zenobia was asking about sperm donors, about alternative solutions. She was convinced Xavier was infertile too.
Which leads to the most disturbing part of the plan.
The lake house plot. Keziah pieces it together, a memory from right before her exile. At a family gathering, Xavier was drunk, basically incapacitated. Keziah remembers being given water that made her feel dizzy and strange.
And a cousin was there. Langston.
Langston was deliberately placed nearby. The implication is just horrific.
Zenobia's plan was to use a family member to impregnate Keziah, without her or Xavier's knowledge, to secure the bloodline.
To use Keziah as a discreet incubator, the public humiliation was the punishment for that plan failing.
My God. But that's just a theory, right? How could she prove something so monstrous?
This is the genius part. The physical proof. She's going through old photos from that lake house reception. She zooms in on the reflection in a decorative mirror in the background. And there's Zenobia, standing in a dark hallway. The source describes her expression as cold, focused, predatory observation. She wasn't just there, she was supervising, watching.
That's premeditation. That's irrefutable.
Beyond any doubt, it's surgical.
What a masterclass in evidence gathering. Okay, let's shift gears. We've seen this slow, deliberate cruelty. Now we pivot to Imani's story. This is the opposite. It's all instant, explosive violence.
It is. Imani's story, the Christmas horror, happens in a matter of seconds. She's 6 months pregnant at a party in the Vance penthouse. She goes out to the 5th floor balcony for some air.
And her husband, Malcolm Vance, follows her.
He does. He's drunk, he's furious about his image in front of investors, and he's screaming that she's embarrassing him.
And then he shoves her.
He shoves her right off the balcony.
But she survives. That's the miracle here.
It is the beginning of her justice. She falls 5 stories, but lands on the hood of a car parked below. The impact is cushioned. That car literally saves her life.
So Malcolm's reaction inside, what happens?
It reveals everything. There is zero concern for Imani. His first move is to control the story.
The narrative.
Instantly, he claims she's slipped on the snow.
Yeah.
He starts planting the seed that she was unstable, emotional because of the pregnancy. It's a classic tactic. Discredit the victim before she can even speak.
And he has help, right? There's someone else there.
Tanisha Boyd, the other woman. She's right there to console him, backing up the story about Imani's instability, even hinting that she and Malcolm were planning a future. They're building the narrative of a tragic accident in a troubled marriage.
But he makes a mistake, a huge one.
A fatal one. He panics and orders his head of security to delete everything from the balcony and the hallway cameras.
Which is basically a confession.
A grieving husband protects the victim. A guilty man destroys the evidence.
And unlike Keziah's story, the lie just collapses almost immediately.
It's a rapid sequence of events. First, the paramedic gets there and confirms Imani is alive. And crucially, she's conscious.
So she can talk.
And she does. The paramedic comes back up and delivers her first statement. She said someone pushed her.
And just like that, Malcolm's story is shattered.
Gone. And then the cover-up fails too. The building manager confirms a backup of the security logs is recoverable. And he states that Malcolm ordered the deletion.
He's caught red-handed.
And then the final piece falls into place. The unexpected ally. In the ambulance, Imani asks for Quentin Rodas.
The owner of the car.
The owner of the car that saved her, a former tech billionaire. He shows up at the penthouse and confronts Malcolm.
What does he do?
He provides the context of the social pressure. He reveals that Imani was forced into the marriage by her father for a business deal. So much for the troubled love story.
And with him there, the other guests start to talk.
They find their courage. They say they saw Imani reach out, saw Malcolm grab her arm before she went over. The whole thing unravels in minutes. Malcolm is taken for questioning, charged with attempted murder, and denied bail.
So when we put these two stories side by side, the difference is really in the tempo of justice.
Completely.
Yeah.
Imani's was instantaneous. It was survival-based. It hinged on her being conscious, on her immediate testimony, and on external factors. The car, the paramedic, the building manager, that just refused to cooperate with Malcolm's lie.
Whereas Keziah's was surgical. It took 3 years of painstaking work, building a case out of diaries and, that incredible photo reflection.
Right. But her final masterstroke still needed an explosive human element to really work.
The alliance with Soraya.
The alliance with Soraya. The night before Keziah's big reveal at a charity auction, Soraya shows up at her door, completely broken. She confesses everything.
That the pregnancy was fake?
A silicone prosthetic belly. The whole thing was a lie. Her marriage wasn't love, it was a debt repayment contract. Zenobia orchestrated it all to create the illusion of fertility and destroy Keziah's reputation for good.
So Soraya was just another one of Zenobia's victims.
Exactly. And this alliance of the two wives, the two primary victims of this one woman's obsession, it makes the final showdown unstoppable.
So at the auction, Keziah presents the evidence. The lake house plot, the photo of Zenobia watching.
She projects it on the main screen for everyone to see.
And then Soraya delivers the final blow.
The ultimate act of public defiance. She stands up, removes the fake belly, and shouts, "This whole pregnancy is a lie."
The hall must have erupted.
It did. Zenobia's world just crumbles to dust in front of the entire community she tried so hard to control.
And Kazuya, what does she do? Does she confront Zenobia?
No. She saves her final quiet word for Xavier, the passive betrayer. She walks up to him in the chaos and just hands him the DNA results.
Proving Kenzo and Kalia are his
real heirs, the children he threw out into the rain. She leaves him with the knowledge that he personally discarded the one thing he claimed to want. A total psychological ruin.
Meanwhile, Imani's victory is much quieter, but just as complete.
Absolutely. She leaves the hospital with Quentin, safe and protected. The charges against Malcolm stick. Justice is swift.
So what's the key knowledge we can distill here?
I think it's that both Zenobia and Malcolm relied entirely on reputation, control, and wealth to enforce their will. And both were undone by material evidence that their victims either carefully preserved, like the photo, or immediately provided, like Imani's testimony.
The sources really push us to look at the different kinds of evil, too. Zenobia and Malcolm are what you'd call active, destructive evil. They were architects of pain.
Right. They schemed, they plotted assault and attempted murder. But Xavier, he represents something else, something maybe more common.
Passive, cowardly betrayal.
Exactly. He didn't plot it, but he inflicted the wound with his silence, with his complicity. He enabled it all just to protect his own comfort.
So why should you, the listener, care about all this? I mean, it's because these stories show the incredible power of truth when it finds an unexpected ally.
That's the core lesson. The seemingly weak Kazuya, exiled and broke. Imani, isolated and labeled unstable, can dismantle entire structures of power when they are armed with proof. And especially with allies like Quentin or Soraya, the rival wife.
That alliance between Kazuya and Soraya is fascinating. They were supposed to be rivals.
But they're just two different kinds of victims of the same monster. And when they united, no manipulator could stand against them.
So we saw Kazuya return, restore justice, protect her children, and leave a weak man in the ruins of his mother's lies. But it leaves you with a final thought. Does the truth always need that kind of public, spectacular reckoning to truly free the victim? Or is a quiet, private justice sometimes enough? Something for you to mull on as you continue your own deep dives.